Hello and welcome to the Green Machine Live, your home for Irish football news and nostalgia, where you, the fans, our lovely fans out there, you have your say. I'm David, your host, joined as always by Nick. Not always, because he wasn't here last week, but Martin. No, Martin was up at Wembley with the rest of the Man United fans from London. Here he is there. Happy, but
he looks great, doesn't he? Great colour, Martin.
Oh, you're very tanned. Where was he? And yes, he would go to the opening of an envelope. There he is there with Keane, and he has a lovely... The highlight of the day, I'm sure, for Keane was holding that Green Machine podcast sticker for those of you listening on our audio version of this. He wasn't the only one there at Wembley. Well, obviously, the United team were at Wembley. Newcastle weren't. They didn't show up, did they? As you can see, if you're looking at it there they are celebrating, and in the background is no other than Irish legend Shay Given. And there he is there. Probably getting flashbacks. He
looks delighted, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been at a few Wembley defeats, hasn't he, against United?
Yeah, a few 2-0s against United, and he kind of supports whoever's winning, doesn't he? Because he's kind of very pro City, and then he's very pro Newcastle. Since Newcastle got taken over, actually, he's been a big fan again. So it's interesting to see Shay chase the bandwagon.
Yeah, just a bit like my mate Ken, who actually saw today. He was going to the final. He, funnily enough, he supported Newcastle. Then he would wear a Chelsea shirt when Newcastle got relegated, and now he's back wearing Newcastle again because Chelsea will probably get relegated before them. And he was actually over with his friend Goffey. Two mates of mine from Ireland were over. They went to the game. No, they had no tickets, and were, fully enough, they were supposed to stay with me actually tonight. And instead of typical Irish, instead of actually taking my advice and getting a plane to Gatwick, because that's, I'm an hour from Gatwick Airport where I live, and then another hour just up to Wembley, they went to Heathrow. I said, why didn't you go to Gatwick? Well, the flights are too expensive in Gatwick, so we went to Heathrow. And he ended up actually paying for a hotel because they couldn't get from Heathrow to my place in time.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you, Mick Lynch.
Yeah, I know they're listening. Because I told them to listen tonight, just for that tidbit of information. How are you, Nick? How's your week? You were back from sunny Lisbon?
Yeah, I got deported back to Portugal. And I came back, and there were no protests in East Wall when I came home, so that was very positive. But I had to save your bacon last week, Dave, didn't I?
I have no idea what you mean.
Are we? Yeah, we're probably not allowed to mention that, are we? We're probably
not the episode that doesn't exist?
Yeah, the episode that was destroyed. It was a bit like the Roy Keane MUTV interview.
Well, this is why
you had to leave United. It was a bit like that. It's been the footage has been destroyed. But don't worry, Dave. Martin and I picked up the pieces. We did damage control.
Well,
have your back.
Don't know what you're talking about, but I'll just say never get Irish blogs involved in these things. It's too big, isn't it? The UK. No, there was. If you did watch last week's episode, apologies again. My camera broke. You can see I have a brand new camera for those watching us live on YouTube and Facebook. My camera broke on the laptop, and I used another camera which had a 5-second delay. And poor Bill and Mark were on there, who, to be fair, have their own 5-second delays in general. And I literally, it was just terrible. It was awful. And I remember just putting the thing, going, oh, this was never again. Can we have this? So I have a brand new camera. And I have a brand new microphone as well. So you can get even more of Davy's dulcet tones every week. Try to control yourself, ladies. You're going to see an uptick now in the audio versions of this, just saying.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yes, we will. Well, I didn't have a very good start to the day. I woke up. Obviously, I get to train to work, my real job. And, when you go to the train station and you think, well, no, you don't because you live in Ireland. But, when you go to the train station and you think, I've got loads of time. And then you look at the watch and go, oh, my God, where has that gone? And I realized I was actually running late for the train. So I ran for the train. It was still at the platform, and the little beep, beep noise, which means it's locked the doors. So I ran down the ramp. The train driver clearly saw me. You know, you can't miss this 6'2" hunk of gorgeousness right here running. And, you know, I got to the door, pressed the button, you know, frantically, and sort of looked at the cabin like that. And he didn't do anything. He didn't open the doors. He actually sat there for 10 to 15 seconds. Well, it felt like that anyway, and then drove off.
Yeah. I drive off on you as well, though, Dave. So you can't really blame the man.
Well, I hope Martin and Mick Lynch are watching this. I'm just saying. But anyway, so that's how my day started.
Friend of the pod?
Mick Grinch. He is friend of the pod, actually. Well, a friend of Martin's anyway. So if you are watching, Mick, have a word with your drivers, will you? Right, that's enough of the chit-chat. Let's get into business here. Let's get this lovely boys in green. Let's see how our boys in green gone on over the weekend. Lovely graphic coming up.
Beautiful graphic.
It is a beautiful graphic. Right, Nick, you are back. I did hold a bag and, well, actually did a even better, well, you know, not only held the bag, but
look,
lifted
a
the
solid
bag for
7
you.
out of 10. It was a 7 out of 10, Dave.
You just look, I didn't have my new microphone. Right.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm never been more ready in my life.
All right, go for it. Oh, by the way, before we do, folks.
Not ready now.
Just hold on. Those of you watching at home, don't forget, have your say, get involved, leave a comment, please. Nick, here's your chance.
Okay, so our roundup from the weekend. So Tom Cannon, his first senior goal as Preston beat Wigan 2-1. So strange kind of day for the Irishmen. So Alan Brown, I'll acknowledge him, a great assist actually for Cannon's goal. But Greg Cunningham scored an OG. So obviously that gave Wigan the lead. And then Robbie Brady was sent off in extra time. So an unusual day at Deepdale. But Tom Cannon, I mean, we might go into him in a little bit. He's on loan from Everton. Very, very young player. Hasn't really featured for the under-21s. He's featured at under-19 level and kind of below that, but he looks a terrific player. Michael Obafemi scoring a goal as well for Burnley as they absolutely hammered Huddersfield Town 5-0. He's coming back into form after his injury layoff and after his hiatus, I suppose, from the game before his move to Burnley. As I mentioned there, Alan Brown getting the assist for Preston for Tom Cannon's goal against Wigan. Sammy Smoddock's goal for Blackburn Rovers versus QPR. That goal was reported to me in real time by Declan Finnegan. So Declan, if you're listening, thank you very much for that update. Another goal for Dave McGoldrick. He scored for Derby County versus Barnsley. And Conor Hourihan, another assist for Derby against his former club. They did go down 4-1. Jack Taylor, who scored a goal a couple of weeks ago for Peterborough, he's done it again. He scored in Peterborough's win over Plymouth Argyle. And Finn Azaz actually getting an assist in that game as well. And then Ronan Curtis, one of the forgotten men of Irish football, scoring a goal for Portsmouth against Cheltenham. So there's your roundup, Dave. What do you think of that?
6 out of 10. We've just had a comment there, actually, from Paul Culleton. I know we don't do this and I'm breaking rules here, but we're going to talk about it now, so I thought I'd ask. Do you think Tom Cannon, if he scores again... Hello, Paul, on YouTube, by the way. Again, for Preston between now and when Stephen Kenny announces his March squad, should he get a run against Latvia? Over to you, Nick.
I think Paul's read our mind, Dave, hasn't he? Because this is something we were discussing off air today. Yes, I do think he's going to get into the senior squad, Paul. I think he is going to be a bit of a dark horse. He's an excellent player. A really, really good player and a guy that we've been tracking for a long time, kind of in the Everton system. He's an all-round striker, very, very highly rated at Everton. He got a couple of games in the Premier League, didn't he, before he was loaned out. Now, he plays up front with Troy Parrott, or at least he has for the last couple of games, and he was playing up front with Liam Delap. He's a complete striker. He's great ball control, great finisher, can hold it up, can take on players. He's kind of the full package. And when you look at it logically, you kind of think, well, a lot of the under-21s lads are graduating, aren't they? You know, like, I mean, there's the lads who are going to remain with the seniors, like Adam Ida and Troy Parrott. Aaron Connolly's not eligible anymore. And you kind of think, well, it's going to be the likes of, you know, Sinclair Armstrong and probably Tom Cannon coming into Crawford's team. But the quality he has and the fact that he's playing senior football every week, I think he's got a shot of making the senior team. I actually think he's going to bypass a lot of lads, and I think he's going to end up in the senior team. And we it's funny that Paul says it, because we have been mentioning that the last couple of days, Dave, haven't we? And
yes,
he's certainly a guy that we should keep an eye on. I think Crawford will want him for the 21s. I mean, they're not playing for another little while, aren't they not? But I think if you're to look at form, I think if you're to look at quality, I think if you're to look at the fact that he's still eligible for England, it'd be a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, get him involved. Obafemi, of course, you know, we touched on him there. He is hitting form. I put a post up there saying that, you know, he's finally hitting form. There was one negative comment about that, basically saying that not against him. It wasn't against him as such, but it was, oh, what a surprise. He's playing at a decent. He's finally playing under a decent manager. Easy for me to say, having a go at Kenny. And Fintan Callan actually on the Facebook page just said, because he actually was angry, you know, when you see the little reactions, and had like a little angry face, and there's Fintan Callan. So what's his problem? And I actually saw his profile pictures, the Southampton badge. I was like, he's actually commented
there. You go.
There. Pity he didn't try that at Southampton.
We had a Swansea fan having a go at us. I think Irish Football Blog. Oh, no, it was Kevin Higgins. Kevin, if he's watching, Kevin had put something up about Ryan Manning, because Ryan Manning's kind of announced that he's not going to renew his contract with Swansea.
Right.
And Kevin was kind of making the point that he could get a Premier League move, he could get a higher Championship move, and some Swansea fan was kind of having a go at Kevin, saying, he's shit anyway, you know, kind of along those lines. And, you know, we kind of jumped in and we were like, you know,
leave Kevin alone.
He's doing fine, and Obafemi's doing fine, and all this kind of thing. And then the fan just started going, well, we qualified for the World Cup and you didn't. And anyway, go off and shag your sheep, you Welsh fan.
Wow.
Yeah, that escalated. that escalated.
Did escalate. I think you'll be the one joining those down in East Wall, Nick.
Yeah.
Casual racism there. I found that comment, by the way, Chris Burke, playing under a proper manager. That's why we'll score F all for us. He didn't say that he used the full language, but I'm trying to keep this. Well, I was actually trying to keep this PG, but you've just.
I like to lower the tone, Dave. I like to lower the tone. I should actually get like you know how I had a couple of weeks off there. Like, you should get a 3-episode ban, or the swear jar again. But no, look, Obafemi, look, his role. Ashley Barnes has done quite well with Burnley, and you know they're ticking off really well, aren't they? I mean, they've only lost 2 games this season in a championship. You know, the championship's such a long season; it's such a unpredictable kind of league, and Vincent Kompany just has them taken over very, very well. Obafemi's going to be an impact sub for them, I'd say, until the end of the season. But he's making the impact, isn't he? Like, that's 2 goals now. And I think. I think he's going to end up in the Premier League next season. I think that is going to be permanent, but he's done excellently, and I think he's playing himself back into the first choice position for us.
Just looking here, actually, the Championship is looking quite nice, top of the table. Burnley and Sheffield United at the top. Burnley 76 points on 34 games. Sheffield United second place, 64 points on 33 games. So you do have a game in hand, but they are Middlesbrough 34 behind them there. They're looking very nice. They're on 57 points, by the way.
Yeah, they're going up. They're
both going up. Yeah,
they're an excellent side. Yeah,
so that is really, really encouraging stuff to see. And speaking of leagues, let's talk about our own league for a moment. League of Ireland back again, breaking records this season. Fantastic to see. You were certainly impressed with a bit of magic from John Afalobi. Now, he has gone back to Bohemians. He's done really well. Your team. Before we talk about him, actually, we do have a little bit of footage. Now, I'm really hoping, if anyone's watching in the League of Ireland, folks, they're probably not. We're going to share some footage here. Please don't put a copyright ban on us on YouTube or whatever, because that's a pain in the arse. We're trying to help the league. Now, we haven't had this happen before, so I'm just putting it out there. But here is Mr. Flores, who, if you remember, scored that absolute stunner of a goal for Dundalk. It was Dundalk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What's his full name?
Play for Dundalk, and he's after scoring against Dundalk. Jordan Flores. He scored an absolute screamer for Dundalk against Rovers, and now here he is scoring a lovely screamer of a goal for Bows against his old team Dundalk. Enjoy this one. This is gorgeous.
With 4 in the wall.
Great time to score, right in the stroke of half time.
Yeah, the clock's just turned red as you speak, Dano. Flores to hit it. And Flores to score! What a superb strike from Jordan Flores! Absolutely brilliant strike. Unstoppable into the goalkeeper's top right-hand corner.
That was lovely. Of course, you can you can catch all of that if you get the season pass, League of Ireland TV, 120 quid, all the games live, fantastic value. And you know, the League of Ireland, Nick, it does have its quality. It does have, and like as you've seen there, but it also has its particularly Irish moments. Check out this bit of commentary.
Regret that. Yeah, that was very close. You could see it on the replay. Just a look. Hutchinson, his first touch isn't great, but he's still going. And it is another penalty for Sligo Rovers. He did catch him, I think, Declan. And an opportunity for Sligo Rovers to take the lead.
Outside the shagging box. Excuse my French.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see that in the replay because it looks to...
Where else are you going to get that? You know, I haven't heard that expression, shagging, instead of the F word, the bad F word, Nick. Since my granddad used to say that, that shagging thing over there. And he used to say feck as well. So, you know, very, but yeah, the League of Ireland, excellent stuff. But you were quite impressed with Ofalabi, who obviously was playing in that game against Dundalk, and you said he might make a comeback.
Yeah, look, I mean, very highly rated guy, wasn't he? He got in the European Championship under-19 team of the tournament, didn't he? Back in 2019, I think it was. So the thing that always struck me about Ofalabi was he's just a big physical guy, but he's very technically good as well and so strong. And I mean, we know he went to Celtic. He was with Southampton. He was, you know, he would have been in the same youth teams as Michael Obafemi coming up and Will Smallbone as well. He went to Celtic on a free. It didn't quite work out from there. He went down to the lower league, Sydney on loan and scored a few goals. When Bow signed him, I couldn't believe it. You know, I couldn't believe it because he's, you know, he'd been kind of linked with a couple of other clubs in England and a couple of championship clubs as well. So he came back. Look, he played at the tail end of last season. I wasn't too impressed with him, but he was excellent against Dundalk. Really, really good against Dundalk. And he was very good against Cork City last week. So look, he's still a young guy. I think he's only about 21, 22. Very impressed with him. Just his all-round play is fantastic. And again, like, I'm just very happy he's at Bows. The amount of lads that have gone from Bows over to the UK in recent years, you look at Georgie Kelly, you look at Dawson Devoy, you look at Andy Lyons. Obviously, he went via Shamrock Rovers, unfortunately, but there is a gateway there. And, you know, if he keeps playing the way he is, and if he does develop nicely into that all-round striker, he could be going back to England and he could be a future Ireland international. Who knows?
He could. I mean, if you got a few bob to spare, you want to support Irish football out there, get on the season pass, League of Ireland TV, 120 quid, all the games. I mean, it's had a few teething problems, but it's a really great thing. And remember, we have a strong League of Ireland. We'll have a stronger national team in the future. So yeah, just putting it out there. Actually, speaking of which, we had a bit of history, didn't we? A certain Leo Gaxa. Let me get a little cheeky graphic up here. Where is... Here we go. Irriguide, friends of the pod. Share this out here. Shout out for Tralee-born Leo Gaxa. That's a cool name. 20. He's a forward who recently signed with Kerry FC from Sheffield United and who now has the distinction of scoring the first ever goal for the newly formed club in the first division of the League of Ireland. Well done, Lee. That's for Kerry FC. They had a full house, didn't they? Their first game. First ever game.
Well, it wouldn't be hard. There's only about 5 seats in the in the ground.
No,
I know it's great.
Nice.
No, it's great because they're so God focused down there. I wouldn't say that they're anti-football, but you know, any interactions I've had, but any interactions I've had, they not that they see football as a threat, but it's, you know, there certainly is a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of resistance, but like Leo Gaxa, I mean, he was with Sheffield United. He's from Kerry, so it's great that a Kerry man actually scores the first goal. Now they'll find it rough. It'll take a little bit of time. There's plenty of money in Kerry. You know, I can see investment going in there. I can see some youth players who might go down the Gaelic football route, staying with Kerry, and then you've got some unbelievable athletes, some very, very talented athletes. You look at David Clifford, probably one of the best footballers in the country right now, Gaelic footballers in the country right now. You know, he was a very, very talented football player. And you could have the likes of him seeing a bit of a gateway into professional football through Kerry FC. So, look, it's great that the club are there. I think Billy Dennehy's the manager down there. He, you know, had a very distinguished career in the League of Ireland. So, look, it's great to see, and you know, it does stretch the game that little bit further.
No, absolutely, and this is what we need. We need clubs, all four corners. Well, in Republic anyway, we need clubs all over Ireland shooting up, people playing football, more eyes on the league, more teams playing football, more teams in the league. It's only good. It's only going to get stronger. We're moving on to the senior squad. Obviously, it was announced last week that John O'Shea, Ireland legend, was announced as an assistant coach. Hasn't replaced Keith Andrews, which so many people just hate Keith Andrews. But anyway, I like Keith.
They don't rate him, but
it's because of the Roy Keane comment. It's because he called out Martin O'Neill and said that he was a lucky manager when he was a pundit for Sky, and then Martin O'Neill said it was bullshit, and then Roy Keane called him a spoofer, and now everybody hates Keith Andrews. It's the Keane effect.
No.
Yes.
No. He is a spoof. I could have told you he was a spoofer years ago. But look,
I think
we're not on the training pitch, are we? Look, it's a conversation for another day, but
yes.
I think if you were going to bring in Stephen Kenny, who had very little experience at that level, you should have brought in an experienced assistant coach with him. But anyway, argument for another day.
Doesn't need it. He has Keith Andrews. So John O'Shea's going to join that. So he's going to replace Anthony Barry and John Eustace. Sorry, who replaced Anthony Barry?
Who replaced Damien Duff?
Who replaced Damien Duff? Who lived in a house that Jack built. So basically, now we need to talk about who will replace John O'Shea at the under-21s level. Some of the candidates you've named, Nick, here in your notes, your excellent notes. Sean O'Shea, friend of the pod, used to be at AIK. He's a really good coach.
Coach Zach El-Bouzetti, and currently out in Dubai doing a lot of kind of individual coaching and other bits and pieces. Yeah. So Sean's a very talented guy. He was on the podcast 2 years ago, I think. And, you know, he was,
one of our first big guests.
Yeah. One of our first big guests. He was talking a lot about Zach, of course, Zach El-Bouzetti, but he did mention his aspirations to manage his country or coach his country. And he is a specialist coach. He's very highly rated. He could be someone who comes in.
Yep. Another one, John Walters. He is currently at. He's
at Waterford. Yeah, he's the sporting director of Waterford. So yeah, slightly different role, but he is in the coaching setup with the under-19s, and you know he is kind of going through that pathway. So he could be someone to. If you look at the continuity, just anyone again listening, do listen back to Martin and I's chat on Wednesday, I think it was. We did kind of a breaking episode on John O'Shea's appointment, but we spoke about the continuity element and how John O'Shea and Keith Andrews both progressed with at under-21 level into senior level, and I think that's something that the FA are trying to do. So Walters could follow that path as well by going from 19s on to 21s, I think.
Another one, this is going to send people into meltdown. Paul McShane, who was a coach at Man United. I don't know if he still is.
He is, yeah. He's the development phase coach at United. He was the player coach as well. I mean, look, very, very highly rated. Really, really highly rated. Very, very highly regarded. You know, I mean, United, I wouldn't necessarily have rated their youth ranks in recent years. Very, very badly run. I mean, it seemed to be a very toxic environment the way it was run. And that's coming from someone within the club who I spoke to recently, you know. So it seems to be back on track now. And McShane is kind of part of that new wave of that youth setup. So again, very, very highly regarded coach. He's been doing his coaching badges since he was a player. He is involved with United, but look, that could be a part-time role for him. John O'Shea's involved with Stoke. It could be something that he does. Again, they are looking at getting ex-players involved, and he could be a decent candidate to do that.
Do you think
he'd be the favourite for me?
Do you think he'll teach the players how to clear the ball out of the box?
Yeah, well, that's the $1 million question, really, isn't it?
Don't let the ball bounce in the box.
Yeah,
if you know, you know. And Darren D's the last name that you put here on the list.
Probably least likely. I mean, he looks after the kind of Celtic development team. You know, he's got Rocco Vada there. You know, he's got a lot of young Irish lads that he would have overseen. Luke Connell in the past, Afalobi in the past. Look, I don't think so. He might come into the conversation. I mean, he's someone who could be managing the team. It's a big backroom team. You know, you've Alan Reynolds there as well, working with Jim Crawford, and you've a massive analytical team. You've a lot of people involved there. I don't really. I mean, it's a bigger backroom team than the senior setup, and you know, for small international windows, I don't see the benefit of it. But look, I'm not in that area, so I'm not sure. But if someone does come in, yeah. I think Max Shane will be sought after, and I think he's the favourite for that one.
Well, you heard it here first, and we like breaking news here. Nick says Paul McShane's going to slip into that role. Speaking of breaking news that we did actually break a while ago, and we did actually break it, to do with the women's national team, they will play the USA twice in April, which is a massive challenge because the USA are the world #1 team in women's football. But Aoife Mannion, who we did actually announce here a while back, we got the scoop from Irish manager Vera Pauw. She told us that they weren't after her, or were going after her, and we just finalized the paperwork, and she is now going to the World Cup. She had an interview with Tony O'Donoghue. It was quite emotional. It was quite, you know, showed the real passion that she has for playing for her country.
Yeah.
You know, she's obviously wants to hit the ground running, doesn't she? World Cup coming up.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, she played in the friendly against China, the kind of behind closed doors. Well, no, it wasn't. Sorry, it wasn't a behind. Well, it actually was. Kind of was. You know,
we still don't know the score.
Played Germany. It was 0-0. They played Germany behind closed doors, and then they played China. There wasn't many fans there. I don't know what the kind of setup it was, but she played centre half. She played kind of in the Seamus Coleman role, the right hand side of a back three, and she was really, really good, really, really excellent. And you know, I think she's going to nail on the start. She came off the bench actually for Man United's ladies team over the weekend. That was her first game in nearly a year. Like, she had a really, really bad ACL injury. So look, she's a huge acquisition. I don't think she's going to be the last one. You know, we spoke about Marissa Shiva, and we spoke about God, I've kind of forgotten her name, the Aussie girl, Harp, I think, the girl who plays down in Australia. And you know, I think Mannion's an excellent player. She's very, very likable. You know, she's done a lot of interviews with the FAI in the past couple of days, and you know, very mature head on her shoulders as well. I think great acquisition that we broke. We'll take all the credit.
We're taking every bit of it. And just lastly here on OBIG, special mention actually to Caitlin Hayes of Celtic, who is eligible for Ireland. So, you know, we might get another one on here. But she got a great goal against, lovely header against Rangers. There she is there after peeling away.
Yeah, Caitlin was flagged by Bill. Are we allowed to mention Bill? Dave? Yeah, we'll mention Bill.
Who's Bill? I don't know that name.
You've forgotten already. But Caitlin Hayes, Irish eligible with Celtic, had expressed she was in contact with Bill and basically said how keen she is to play for Ireland. So she could be another person to come in. She's been on the radar for quite a while, it seems.
We must get Bill on the podcast one day.
Yeah, once your camera's fixed.
Moving on. Right, we're going on to social media watch. I'm not going to be bullied on my show. Right, lovely graphic again. Where else to start, really? But I saw this actually on our Twitter, the Green Machine Twitter. You shared this. So Stephen Ireland, for those of you listening on the audio. So Stephen Ireland playing five-a-side football or park football. So
it's an 11-a-side match.
It's 11-a-side match.
Yeah.
It's probably the only football he's going to see. He's talking out for Premier League 11 in a friendly against Stretford Paddock. He's in the group admin, or he is the group admin for WhatsApp, for a WhatsApp group of unemployed footballers looking for games such as these. Bit random, isn't it?
Yeah, look, Stretford Paddock, their YouTube channel, I wouldn't be a big fan of them.
Oh.
Probably because I was working for their main competitor. Anyway, I won't mention that, so I don't work for them anymore. But look, they set up a football club. They're kind of in the lower leagues. They're building their profile and all this kind of thing. They have a lot of contacts with ex-Premier League players. Stephen Ireland's like a super agent now, isn't he? But apparently he's the admin of a WhatsApp group with loads of free agents, and he organizes these kind of games against, you know, lower league teams. And well, this is what I gather anyway, lower league teams, and teams looking for these kind of friendlies. And look, they get to give Stretford Paddock a bit of promo. They get a bit of a run out. So look, I don't know if his granny got a game. I don't know if she's the manager, but look, I'll fair dues to him because he's getting lads a bit of game time.
You had to go there, didn't you? It was actually a very, very sad week in football. We lost the legendary John Motson. Motty died at the age of 1977. At the age of 1977. At the age of 77. Christ, what a tribute! Absolute hero. I think we all grew up with Motson, didn't we, on the BBC? Him and Brian Moore. Maybe that's a bit before your time, Nick. But yeah, lovely tribute here to him, actually. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. 77. There he is, born in 1945.
And what we keep forgetting is John Motson's voice features in our intro.
It does.
Yeah.
We're gonna play the clip of that where he celebrates Robbie Keane's goal, but we didn't want to get it taken off YouTube, unfortunately. They had a lovely tribute today at the League Cup final at Wembley.
Yeah.
They actually put a picture of him for those of you listening on the audio, but they have a sheepskin jacket. They have his microphone, his matchday program, and a picture of Motty in an empty media desk there, which I think is a lovely tribute. A stadium that John Motson has donned the iconic halls of Wembley, new and old, many, many times, and our condolences to his family. But you had a bit of trouble with a West Ham fan on the Twitter page, and this is football at its worst. So I'm going to read it out here, Nick, on Twitter. Mark Oram, West Ham fan. There's a shock. 6 players were English and 2 were Scottish. Can't even spell Scottish, by the way. Socktish. In one Ireland's greatest achievements. And he's got several emojis. Oh, of course, an English manager. And of course, you've responded. Mark Oram, hijacking a post paying respect to someone who has just passed by sprouting absolute shite. You, sir, are an arsehole. He is an arsehole. You shouldn't have actually. I said it to you at the time with the hashtags. No, just fucking say it. He is an arsehole. What?
This is a children's show, David.
Yeah, well, you just alluded to certain people shagging sheep.
Yeah, just the Welsh.
Yeah. Speaking of no, I was going to say something else there. Actually, speaking of shagging,
different podcast.
Different podcast. Oh, that's on the dark web. Speaking of shagging, actually, you pointed this one out here. Not Irish football related, just funny. Ivan Toney. Talk about childishness at its worst or its best. So Ivan Toney, as we all know, is under investigation for several breaches of the betting code. Why a Premier League player would need to do that, I don't know. But here he is anyway on Twitter. Just, I be chilling. I thank you for that, Ivan, for that update. That's crucial to my day. And then Joe Whittaker says, on your way to the bookies, hey? And Ivan Toney, taking the high road in all of this responds, no, your mum's gaff.
They should rename him Ivan Erection.
Hey. See, that's why you listen to the Green Machine, folks. You get all the high-end highbrow comedy here. Speaking of highbrow, you have a little poll going on over on the Twitter. And here we are. It's Ireland's 11. Lovely graphic there again.
Lovely.
It is gorgeous, isn't it? Look at that. And so we know who the goalkeeper is. Funnily enough, on that graphic is Shay Given. He's the all-time greatest goalkeeper of all time to play for Ireland.
According to our listeners.
According to our listeners and anyone who has eyes. And now we have just decided, and we've learned who the greatest right back is of all time, haven't we, Nick? So
yeah, apparently
let's read this poll out. Speaking of highbrow, let's have a look at this. So, according to the listeners of the Green Machine, nothing to do with Lansdowne Road here, by the way, the greatest right back of all time is Seamus Coleman. You had Gary Kelly on 14%, Paddy Mulligan on 2%, Steve Finnan on 19%, and Seamus Coleman 65%.
Yeah, there's a few votes for Stephen Carr as well in the comments. So I think he actually overtook Paddy Mulligan just based on the amount of votes. Yeah,
4 words. The fucking state of that. That's 5 words.
Yeah.
State of that poll. I'm not against Seamus Coleman, by the way. He is, but come on.
Like the thing is, Dave, we should really go rogue on this because, like, anytime I saw Dennis Irwin play for Ireland, he played right back. But we put a vote out to the listeners: what position, should Dennis Irwin be voted in for? And they all voted that he should be a left back. So already he's going to be up against Stan. He's probably going to be up against Ian Hart. He won't be up against Stephen Ward. But anyway.
You got to put Stephen Ward. I want Stephen Ward in the poll. Conversation for next month. But yeah, so look, they were the votes. I mean, I grew up, Dave. So as I said, Dennis Irwin. You're not a child anymore.
Well, nearly. But I grew up watching Dennis Irwin playing right back. And obviously he wasn't part of the vote. I also grew up watching Stephen Carr, Stephen Kelly, Steve Finnan, all the Steves. Okay, and Gary Kelly, of course, Seamus Coleman as well. I've watched more recently, and I would have a more recent memory of.
Right.
Gary Kelly for me, because look, played in 2 World Cups. If you look at his club career, it was unbelievable. Played Champions League football, something Seamus Coleman has never done. Really, really consistent. Just a very similar player to Seamus Coleman. You know, just a swashbuckling fullback. Steve Finnan won the Champions League, both footed. He could play midfield. He was just such a solid, consistent player. Played in 1 World Cup as well.
Are you saying Gary Kelly is the best Irish right back of all time?
Well, like in that vote, Dave, Dennis Irwin is the best Irish.
But that's the
right
point
back.
of the vote, Nick.
Yeah, Dennis Irwin is the best Irish right back. I would have gone based on the fact that he played in 2 World Cups. I would have gone for Gary Kelly, followed by Steve Finnan. I don't think Stephen, just because of Stephen Carr's injury, he was an excellent player, but just because of the injury he had, and Finnan kind of filled that void. I probably would have had Finnan ahead of Carr, and I probably would have had Kelly ahead of Finnan. But Finnan, Finnan was one of my favorite players as a kid, and I was a United fan, so that does say a lot. But based on the fact he played at 2 World Cups, and he was excellent in the 2002 qualifiers, apart from getting sent off against Holland, I would have gone for Kelly. I would have gone for Kelly in that vote. I would have gone for Irwin, but Irwin was voted in as a left back.
Yeah, that's
not Seamus Coleman. Look, Seamus Coleman is a fantastic player. He's a fan favorite. He's very, very popular. I wouldn't have had him near that. I wouldn't have had him 65% running away from it. Absolutely not. And that's no disrespect to Seamus. It's just the players he was up against were absolutely top class, and he is too, but he didn't achieve half of what they did.
Paul McGrath, Mark Lawrenson played right back as well for Ireland.
Yeah.
You know, Ray Houghton played right back for Ireland. Ronnie Whelan played left back. Actually, that's when Jack was going through his weird phases because he wanted them pinging balls into the corner to the opposite end. So I don't know. Yeah, Dennis Irwin for me, hands down. I thought it was straightforward, but Jesus,
it's not our vote. It's the listeners. But
it
shows the age profile. Because I mean, if you're whatever 21, 22, you wouldn't have seen Gary Kelly at all. Really, you might have seen clips of Steve Finnan in the Champions League. Stephen Carr was an excellent player as well. Lawrenson, maybe I never saw Lawrenson play. I've seen clips of him. I'm aware of how good he was and all that kind of thing. But Dennis Irwin for me. Yeah, Dennis Irwin for me, but in that vote, I probably would have gone Gary Kelly.
Gary Kelly, who only played in World Cup '94, was he a right?
2002, playing 2002.
No, but in 2000, sorry, in '94, he played in that one. He was a right winger, or was he a right back?
He was a right. He played.
He could have played as a right
in 2002. In 2002, he played in the right wing because remember. He started right back against Cameroon. Yeah, he started right back against Cameroon, and then McAteer got injured and he got pushed into midfield. Finnan came into right back. But Finnan was class. Like Finnan was 2-footed. He could play right back, left back. He played in the right wing for Ireland. He was excellent. His delivery was class.
We're going down a rabbit hole. We're going down a rabbit hole there. We need to move it on. But yeah, I mean,
the point of the matter is Seamus Coleman should not have won that vote.
Seamus Coleman should not be on it. Shame on our listeners and the age profile. To be honest with you, that is outrageous. What's the next one? Left back? Is it?
We're going to go left back, which Dennis Irwin will be in.
Okay, all right. That's
you'll want Ronnie Whelan in it.
Yes, actually, because Ronnie Whelan could have played anywhere. Maybe not central defense. He wasn't tall enough. Right, we're moving on. Why are we moving? Oh, comments. A lovely comments. We've got a nice bunch of comments here, actually. And a couple of familiar faces. Irish football blog, conspiracy theory, get over it, Bill. Blue and gold on our YouTube channel. Oh, by the way, if you're watching, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please. 1 goal Cannon and lads looking for a call-up. Herahan is League One. Forget about him.
No, Cannon's has had a really, really good period since going to Preston. It's not just about the goals, blue and gold. It's about the overall performances. He's a good overall forward. He got the goal. He's doing a lot of other bits, his hold up play, running at players, all those bits and pieces. That's what, and the fact that he's playing every week. He's starting every week for Preston. He's only a young lad. Herahan is going to be in the next squad, whether we like it or not. I don't want him there, but he's going to be in the next squad.
Blue and gold. Why is he called blue and gold?
Tip.
Is it? I'm not a guy, man. Let's have a look here. Paul Culleton on a YouTube channel as well. Conor Herahan has had his chance in the senior Ireland team and is nearly 12 years older than Tom Cannon, and also Cannon is dual eligible for England, being born and raised in Aintree. As we were just saying there, Paul, 100%. I agree. Look, we're a bit desperate for some stats, so we have to pad it out with League One. But you know, here's the thing, though. I'm saying that jokingly, but he probably will be involved in the next squad, as he would have been involved in the last squad. It's just that Herahan and Jason Knight weren't released because it wasn't an official friendly for the Malta game anyway. So there it is. Newry, New York, NY, UK, giving us some tips there. He's not impressed, Nick. He's watching for the first time live, and he's giving out we've no music for our graphics. My dulcet tones apparently don't do the job for him.
Well, who suggested music on the graphics, Dave?
All right, I'll tell you what. Newry, UK, right. Watching live for the first time and finally realised where there are silences on the podcast. Might I suggest adding audio stings to accompany your on-screen graphics? Okay.
Who suggested?
Yes. Dave? Okay.
Who though?
I did.
Right.
You are correct. You are correct. And I promise you, because you're a new listener, you get one wish. We will add music to our little things next week. It's been a bit of a busy old week, but we will have those for you, Newry, NY, UK, or Newark. Anyway, we will have those for you next week. That is a Davey promise. Martin Prendergast. Hello.
Heard that one before.
One of my dates. No. Martin Prendergast. Love the shirts. Yeah, not bad, are they? You never know. We might actually...
I've gone for the Jonathan Courtney blue. That's why Martin likes mine.
Bazunu blue. You never know, Martin. You never know. They might become available. Paul Culleton again. And Conor Herahan had a nightmare in his last game for Ireland. Yes, he did. That was against... Yes, he was absolutely awful. It was Armenia, 2-0 up, cruising, falling asleep.
Yeah.
And yeah, and how... It's shocking. Shocking that he's still considered in the squad. But anyway... Kieran Boyle, how you doing, Kieran? Down in Florida. Lads, is the fact we haven't seen any leaks of New Jersey or crest means that it's Wojciech, Cat, Melosian, and just brutal. Hashtag away to Jesus with Castori. Hashtag we want Adidas.
I wonder if he'd like Nike.
Would you like Nike, Kieran? Would you settle for Nike?
Oh,
would you? Martin Prendergast, missing you lads on the way back from Wembley. Enjoy the final, definitely more than Shay Given anyway. Brilliant pick.
He's had a few, hasn't he? He's had a few, Martin.
Yes, Martin. We love you, Martin.
We love you too.
We love you. We love you. I love you, Martin, and I love you too. And Peter Hackett, opening of an envelope, having a good L. My comment earlier on. Yes, Martin would, and he'd probably be in the envelope somehow, because that's what he does. Kieran Boyle commenting on the under 21s. Coach, give it to Joey Lapira. Probably would. Blue and gold again. O'Shea is miles ahead of Andrews. Good for the setup. Next positive move is to get rid of Kenny. No, Jesus, come on.
Can I just say O'Shea? He is a more impressive appointment than Andrews, because O'Shea's worked with other clubs. Like O'Shea worked at Reading. Working with Stoke at the moment, so he has to be rated, and he's doing that kind of business, kind of management, sports, football course or whatever. So, and he's done it all. He's won everything in the club game. He's an impressive appointment. I think he's going to be great. Again, check out our last episode where we chat about him for elaboration.
Fair enough. And Newry again, NYUK. Sorry, I'm just trying to get used to the new names and read read and talk at the same time is quite challenging for me. Not really. And the women's team were still wearing Umbro in the China match. Yeah, they were actually, weren't they?
Look, it's usually the senior lads usually launch it. Yeah, so that's probably the last time Umbro will be worn by an Irish team.
Oh, terrible, isn't it? Irish football blog. Bill, I'm a big Stratford Paddock man, Nick. Oh, Jesus. Oh.
See, I'm not allowed to be. I'm not allowed to be.
Well, you are. You don't work for the United Stand anymore. Oh, sorry, I just said it, didn't I? No. What happened? Why won't you talk about it, Nick? I want to know. Come on, this
work for the enemy. I work for the enemy.
What, United? You don't work for United Stand anymore.
No, not anymore. No.
What happened?
Well, technically, I do. Technically, I do.
They just didn't give you any work.
No. I plenty of work whenever I want. I just took a step back because I want to focus on Irish football.
Says the fella that was in Lisbon last week. But anyway, Liam O'Cleary, do you think Robbie Brady will be in the next squad? He hasn't been playing much lately. Well, he's your love child, Nick. So,
yeah.
Please.
Yeah, he'll be in the squad. He hasn't been starting at all. Got sent off at the weekend. No, he'll be in the squad, but he won't be starting. And he's an excellent. Look, he's excellent. He's not playing well, but he's still one of our most technically gifted players. But look, in the squad, not starting though. I can't see him starting against France.
Fair enough. Glenn Forbes, great work again. Thank you, Glenn. We do appreciate it. Who's more likely to win something first, Mayo or Newcastle? Thanks.
Neither.
Neither. And by the way, just on Glenn, and we had Newry NY UK. If you do have any feedback for the pod, do tell us, good or bad. Keep it constructive, because we want to make this your pod as much as ours. Well, it's my show, but I kind of want you. I want to pretend. I want to make you feel that it's your show, but it's actually mine. But give us some feedback, because I think it's quite valuable, isn't it? We got a new.
Oh yeah, it's the only way we can improve. It's the only way we can grow.
Yeah, we strive to improve. So please let us know, guys. Any comments you want to send us, drop us a few private messages on the Green Machine. We do endeavor to get back to you guys as soon as we can. Sometimes, though, the Facebook app is a bastard, and I miss messages, and I do apologize, but it's just the way it is. Blue and gold again. Oh, 10 out of 10. Up tip. Yeah, tip ga, but unfortunately watch Waterford and follow Sunderland. Oh dear. I suppose you must have been happy today, Blue and gold, actually. Well, thank you again for your comments. And Kieran Boyle, to finish it up for this week. I would love Nike.
Well, Dave, maybe we need to give the people what they want, eh?
I think we do need to give the people what we want. Keep it on the wraps, but you might have a Green Machine jersey coming your way come March. We might have a little alternative.
We'll see.
I haven't got my media passes yet, so I don't want to piss the FAI off too soon. Right, we're going to move it on. We're coming to the end of the show. Thank you guys for your comments, by the way. Always appreciate it. And as I said, any feedback, give us a shout. We are all ears. We want to make this as interactive, fan-friendly, and just the best damn podcast we possibly can make. So this week back in the day is going to be dropping Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Martin and myself will be talking about a very funny subject here. Should I hum for Newry UK whilst the graphic for this week back in the day goes on?
Sing a song.
I should sing a song. Sorry, Newry. I am a facetious bastard. But this week's episode of This Week Back in the Day, and you know what? I can't find a bloody graphic for it. How amateur is that? I've actually just found this. Keep them talking, Nick. They won't notice. Keep busy.
No, we'll have to sing. We'll have to sing. If there's no music, we're just gonna have to sing.
Yes, we shall sing.
Well, Martin will have to sing. I'm sure he'll agree.
This week back in the day, we are going to be talking about Steve Staunton, not Stan. Well, I have it down. Stan's first game was against Sweden on the 1st of March 2006. It was a 3-0 win. It included goals by Robbie Keane, Damien Duff, and of course, the late great Lee Miller's only go for, which is an absolute shit pinger. I'd love to put it on here, but it'll probably get taken down on YouTube. So just visualize it, or I'll share it on the podcast, or I'll share it on the Facebook page. But we're going to be talking about that, Nick. Scoreline flattery. I did watch the game. I have the total 90 minutes. I'll be watching that again. Will be dropping Wednesday, 8 o'clock. in the morning on our YouTube channel and on the greenmachinepodcast.com and wherever you get your podcast. But it's episode 4 of This Week Back in the Day. What are your memories of that game, Nick, since you won't be on the podcast? Because we don't allow you on the podcast.
I listened to this on the radio because it was on Sky and I didn't have Sky. So I remember listening to it on the radio, and I can't remember who the commentator was, but he said that Kevin Doyle, who's about 5'9", was the greatest player we had in the air since Niall Quinn. That's my memory from it. And then I would have watched the highlights back at about 10 o'clock that night. And I just remember because Lee Miller had been with Man United and it hadn't quite worked out. And obviously, it's terribly sad, terribly sad that we lost him so early. But I just remember watching that and thinking, I remember Zlatan Ibrahimovic went off very early. Am I correct in saying that? Yes. Can you remember? Yeah, because I remember he went off very early. And this was like a 24, 25-year-old Zlatan, like very, very good. And Sweden were just all over the place, and we were excellent. Like Damien Duff, I remember being excellent in the game. And then just that Liam Miller goal is kind of the one that we associated with Robbie Keane's first game as captain as well.
Yes,
but I remember thinking we were going to win the World Cup.
Yeah, it was. I watched it. I was at it. I was working with Paddy Powers at the time, and I was going out and watching it, and the goal was a screamer. Having watched it back, it is scoreline flattery. And we're going to talk about that. Niall Quinn is shameless in commentary. He'd swear we had the Messiah in charge. There was a lot of hyperbole around this because Brian Kerr, that's a whole other podcast, that obviously lost the job as Ireland. Well, he didn't have his contract renewed, and we weren't playing with passion, and passion was the mantra, and pride in the jersey, and all this kind of stuff, and so that involved Steve Staunton flapping around like Dusty doing the flap. For those of you in Ireland would know what that means. Waving his arms around like a madman, because that's passion. Mick Bourne, the yellow sponge, all this kind of stuff, the yellow jersey. You had your man back, Tony Hickey doing security. And it was just like, yeah, it's the way football should be. None of this technical nonsense. And Niall Quinn is ridiculous in commentary.
Yeah, it was unhealthy nostalgia, wasn't it?
And also, especially when you find out Niall Quinn was one of the guys who actually got Stan the job. He was on the committee that got Stan the job in the first place. We won't be talking about how he got the job because that is a podcast in itself. We're going to watch the game back and we're going to just give it to you straight as we always do on the podcast. But that is coming up Wednesday. YouTube channels, anywhere you get your podcast. This Week Back in the Day, episode 4. Yet again, any feedback on that? We do it chronologically because it is This Week Back in the Day. But anyway, Nick, we're going to leave it there. Another episode, another one in the history books.
Right.
And sorry, I don't normally do this, but just before we go, Nuri UK, by the way, and apologies, my username is pronounced Nuri Niuk. Oh, it's what a native Nuri is called. A Niuk. Oh, okay.
Nice.
Nuri Niuk. Well, how's it going, Nuri Niuk? Welcome to the live show. Hopefully we'll have you back again. And
hit the subscribe button.
Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. He also did mention that Green Machine shirt by Nike because the boys and green lads are Adidas.
Maybe.
No comment, Nuri Niuk. Anyway, lads, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much. That's all we have time for this week. We will be back next week. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast and the live shows. Thank you for your comments, for your feedback. If hit the subscribe button on YouTube channel. Give us a follow wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's all in our bio, by the way. And yet again, please hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Also, if you want articles and stuff, greenmachinepodcast.com. It's the greenmachinepodcast.com. Thank you, guys. Good night. God bless. And what else can I do to waste more time before I hit the outro button? There we are. Now we have it.